They say Indonesian women smile even when the sea is angry. But those who have seen them among the rice terraces or on the narrow streets of Jakarta know something different. Their silence can be louder than the ocean crashing against the shores of thousands of islands. Indonesia is a scattering of emeralds floating between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. A country made of over 17,000 islands, where every piece of land has its own scent, its own rhythm, and its own shadow. More than 275 million people live here, one of the largest nations on Earth, stretched for thousands of kilometers along the equator. Jakarta, its loud and fiery metropolis, feels like a heart that never learned how to stop. And the islands of Java, Sumatra, Sulawesi, and Bali resemble a massive mosaic of cultures, languages, and beliefs, woven between volcanoes, jungles, and endless coastlines. Indonesia is not just vast in territory, it is boundless in the stories it has yet to tell. They say Indonesian women carry the calm of the ocean within them, but those who have seen them in the early morning light, wrapped in the scent of roasted coffee and the whisper of palm leaves, know that this calm is only the surface of a deep, restrained strength. Their beauty does not shout. It glows softly, in the gentle lines of their faces, in warm caramel or olive skin, in black hair that falls like waves, reminiscent of tropical waterfalls. Their eyes are dark and serene, yet hold a spark that feels like a hidden sun behind the clouds. On Java, they move with a slow grace, as if continuing an ancient dance. On Bali, they smile lightly, like the morning breeze. On Sumatra, they stand tall and proud, carrying dignity passed down through generations. The manner of Indonesian women is gentle but not weak. They are polite, attentive to details, and raised from childhood to control emotions and speak with tact. Yet this is precisely what makes their persistence even stronger. A quiet determination that needs no loud words. Their social role is broad and contrasting. They work in schools, hospitals, offices, markets, amid roaring engines and heat that barely lets you breathe. Women make up approximately 54% of the entire workforce, yet hold only around 22% of leadership positions. In Parliament, their presence is slightly above 20%, and though the numbers grow, the road remains difficult. The gender income gap is still visible, around 30%, and even higher in some regions. And still, they do not give up. They wake before sunrise to cook rice and prepare lunchboxes for their children. In the evening, they return home from work and continue the day. In routines no one notices, yet ones that keep the country moving forward. This contrast is striking. Beauty that is soft and serene, almost created to be admired. And reality, hot, complex, demanding. Indonesian women carry these two worlds within themselves. And it seems that this is what makes them unforgettable. They say Indonesian cities grow as fast as palm shoots after rain. But anyone who has ever stood in the shadow of an ancient temple understands. The true soul of this country does not live in glass and concrete, but in stone that remembers the breath of centuries. Indonesian architecture is a journey through empires, islands, and faiths. On Java, the majestic temples of Borobudur and Prambanan rise above the earth like two books carved from stone. One is Buddhist, made of nearly 3,000 bas-reliefs. The other is Hindu, sharp and pointed like a prayer launched into the sky. Their terraces, statues, and moss-covered walls whisper of civilizations that disappeared, but left an echo in every crack of the stone. Balinese temples are different. They do not seek to impress with size. They create space for breathing. The split gates quietly open into the sky, as if time itself has cracked in half. The black roofs made of palm fiber form layered towers, like old trophies claimed by the wind. And the fine carved wood on doors and pillars feels like memories, shaped by craftsmen who treated their material as if it were living history. In the cities, Indonesian architecture changes. Chaotic, contradictory, yet alive. Jakarta is a place that rushes forward. Here, steel skyscrapers compete with tiled houses of Dutch colonial style. The old district of Kota Tua preserves the memories of the Dutch East Indies. White facades, wide windows, quiet European symmetry being slowly consumed by tropical light. Then comes modernity. Glass shopping malls, fast highways, neon signs dissolving into the evening air. And yet, even here, architecture refuses to abandon its soul. Roofs often rise with a familiar upward curve, as if borrowed from the traditional Minangkabau houses of Sumatra, the ones shaped like buffalo horns pointing toward the sky. Traditional houses form a world of their own. The Tarajan Tongkonan stand on stilts, with roofs curved so high they look like ships ready to sail again. On Timor and Flores, huts with tall conical roofs seem built to catch the wind. On Kalimantan, the Dayak wooden longhouses stretch for dozens of meters, uniting whole communities under one roof, a reminder that life here has always been collective. Indonesian architecture is a dialogue. The old does not battle the new. It stands beside it, like two waves disappearing into the sand. Tradition and modernity exist together, just like the people of thousands of islands, each with their own voice, but sharing a common rhythm. Here, buildings are not merely constructed, they live. Stone that remembers the rains of millennia, wood that knows the scent of incense and the sound of morning mantras, glass that catches reflections of the ocean. Indonesian architecture is its soul, and to feel it, sometimes it is enough to simply touch an old wall that has not yet forgotten its time. They say that in Indonesia the earth breathes, but only those who have heard volcanoes tremble beneath their feet and the jungles sing at night understand that this country is alive in every breath, in every muffled movement of the wind. Nature here is not just beautiful, it is all-consuming. When you look at Bali's rice terraces cascading like green waves one after another, it feels as if someone carved them straight out of the jungle's heart. Morning mist lays over them like a thin blanket, and the air fills with the scent of moisture and young shoots. The wind brings from the mountains the aroma of laurel, wild herbs, and something else elusive, the spirit of a land that never stops creating. On Java, majestic volcanoes rise above the clouds, Merapi, Bromo, Semeru. Their craters smoke as if the earth is whispering something to the sky. At sunrise, a gray-violet haze stretches over Bromo, resembling a scene from another world, a stone amphitheater where nature performs its endless play. Sumatra is a realm of dark, humid jungles, a place where you can hear the cries of gibbons and the wing beat of Kalimantan eagles. Flowers grow there that you may see only once in a lifetime. The Rafflesia, the largest flower on earth, and the Titan arum, which smells like death yet looks like a work of art. Sulawesi is a land of surreal mountain lines and lakes that reflect the sky so perfectly, it seems the water has never known a single ripple. And Kalimantan, the island of legends, breathes with dense greenery inhabited by orangutans. In the evening, you can hear the jungle quiet down, as if preparing for a night prayer. And when the wind carries the scent of wet leaves, it feels as if the forest itself begins telling its story. Indonesian seas are a separate symphony. On Komodo, the water is so clear you can see every movement of a fish, every shadow of coral. Around Raja Ampat, the ocean shifts from turquoise to deep sapphire. These waters hold some of the richest ecosystems in the world. More than 75% of all coral species, and over 1,000 species of fish. The underwater world feels like another universe, silent, yet drenched in colors impossible to forget. Nature in Indonesia is not static. It moves, lives, grows, and destroys. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tropical storms. Here, everything is intertwined with beauty. But it is precisely this that forms the country's strange, unique rhythm, as if the earth beats in time with the hearts of those who inhabit it. This is a place where the wind carries the scent of the ocean even into mountain valleys, where night insects sing like a choir, where the jungle never falls silent, and where nature is not a backdrop, it is the voice, the mood, the true language of the land. They say that in Indonesia, time does not rush. But anyone who has seen Jakarta's rush hour traffic or the morning motorbike swarms of Bali knows that two worlds exist here. One slow like a Sunday sunrise, and one swift like a tropical downpour. Life boils in the big cities. Jakarta is an endless hum. Engines, markets, shouting vendors, the smell of fried tofu, and heat that settles on your shoulders like weight. People wake up early to make it to work and return only after sunset. In many neighborhoods, life happens not inside homes but on the streets, in tiny food stalls, coffee stands, and narrow alleys where neighbors know each other's every breath. Coffee is a ritual. Kopi tubruk in Java, thick and strong. Kopi luwak, expensive but legendary. In Sumatra, it is drunk slowly, with long conversations. In Bali, in small cafes surrounded by rice fields. There is always laughter nearby, and the wind carries hints of clove and cinnamon. Urban lifestyle here is diverse. Young people dress modern, follow trends, work in offices, cafes, and tech companies. They ride scooters, order food online, and spend evenings in shopping malls that shine like tiny separate worlds. Yet even in this modernity there is softness, respect, restraint, politeness. Not manners, but habits. In small towns and villages, everything is different. Time flows slowly, like jasmine tea. Life stays close to nature. In wooden houses where papaya grows in the yard and clothes dry on ropes. Morning begins with the smell of rice, coconut milk, and spices. Women walk to the market with woven baskets. Men fix boats, and children play barefoot on the ground. Indonesian daily life is simple, yet rich with details that create atmosphere. Hanging bamboo lamps, old fans that have worked for decades, small offering altars with flowers near doorsteps, and the scent of incense drifting at thresholds. The contrast between the capital and the countryside is striking. In Jakarta, skyscrapers compete with tropical rains. In remote villages, life still follows the sun, rising, working, lunch in the palm shade, evening coolness. People there do not chase speed. They accept it as nature's rhythm. Social behavior is gentle. People do not speak loudly, do not argue without reason. They smile, even when life is heavy. Faith is present everywhere, Muslim, Hindu, Christian, Buddhist, but what unites them most is the idea of harmony. Rukiyun, peaceful coexistence, felt in every corner of life. The air is always filled with food aromas: fried rice, nasi goreng, chicken in coconut sauce, satay grilled over open flame. Meals are frequent, simple, and deeply flavorful. Every tradition here is intertwined with nature and the rhythm of the tropics. And while the cities move forward, the villages protect the country's roots. Life in Indonesia is not about luxury and not about rushing. It is about warmth, about humanity, about small daily rituals that make each day quiet yet alive. It is a lifestyle that does not hurry to be perfect. It simply exists. And in that lies its true beauty.